if you're having issues, kind of maybe you're in a point in your life where you're kind of at the lowest point. You're like, dude, it's not working. I'll do anything to try to get something to work. First thing you need to look at is what you're putting into your body. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome back to the Rift Podcast, episode number 58. Talking about Kyle from the Nelk Boys. I guess he's kind of, is it really Nelk Boys anymore? I guess it's just kind of a group of them, but Kyle is really like Nelk, I'm pretty sure. And what I want to talk about with him specifically is not necessarily like his upbringing and everything that's happened with him and the Nelk Boys. But he recently on Instagram just posted a transformation picture. Have you seen this picture, Burger?
I haven't seen the picture, but I've been seeing every time I watch one of their podcasts, they usually talk about how he's working out and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I know he does it on Snapchat and stuff, and dude's been dialed. And a big part of it, obviously, Nelk Boys and what he's done and built is Happy Dad, right? A big part of their culture is drinking, right? And I personally have abstained from drinking. I think I'm 116 days now. I'm telling you. This is lifetime, dude. There's no way my streak isn't ending. You've told me before. We have in a podcast that I'm done drinking, quitting alcohol. And Parker said he didn't think I would, but I'm telling you, it's over. And so, yes, I've tried Happy Dad, but will I ever again? No, I won't. And it's for reasons that, looking at Kyle, you're like, oh, well, it's obvious, right? He's obviously selling alcohol and he wants to continue because he wants to make money. He's not doing it out of the form of, or out of his, because alcohol used to make him happy, right? So what made him happy, he wanted to go give value to other people, make them happy as well. Now I think he's starting to realize that this alcohol added into his life every single day is harming him, his life, and his business. And all of these things, and it leads to these habits and effects that don't necessarily make you a good, fulfilled, happy person, right? And so on his recent Instagram post, I didn't read the whole thing, but I read a little bit of what he talked about, and I think he said 3 months ago, I guess it was 3 months ago because it was 120 days update, he was at the lowest point in his life. Homie has, how many followers Nelk Boys have? 6 million or something?
Quite a bit.
But not only that, how much money do they have, right?
Yeah.
Insane amount. Not only that, the population that follows them and the basically power that Kyle has over 20-year-olds to 30-year-old men is crazy. And that, when you think about what is power, well, or how our society's created, like back in the day, right? When you think of ancestral times, Roman times, right? To overtake a nation, you need men 20 years old to 35 years old, right? If you can control that population, then you can pretty much control the world. So the power that Kyle had 3 months ago is the same amount that he has now, but he was at the lowest point in his life 3 months ago. And now he's saying that his life has changed. He feels so much better. His happiness, his mood, his fulfillment, everything, because he started implementing these hard things in his life by a daily regimen that he follows in order to get this body and physique. But that is just a side effect of what actually he was doing. Right? And it's really cool to see because it's unfortunate because I think a lot of people are just ignorant, right? Ignorant of the fact how much their life can change if they understand the one thing that is controlling their life, and that's their own brain.
It's honestly probably not as many people, definitely not as many people know about him as Nelk, but that Mongraal guy I was telling you about.
Oh yeah.
He was that Fortnite streamer. He wasn't doing drinking or anything, but just those streamers, they'll stream for 12 hours a day most days.
Yeah.
So he was short, fat kid, whatever, and he was the best guy at Fortnite, and all of a sudden he just quit, and then he kind of went off the grid. Nobody really saw him, and then just recently he started posting again. He's ripped up, like shaved head.
Yeah.
He's like taking ice baths, doing all this like hard like mental stuff that he's talking about, like how he grew. And he actually just started playing Fortnite again, or whatever. He's like, yeah. He's like, I was afraid to hop back on because I'd afraid to go back to my ways. But he's like, my mind is so like strong now. He's like, I can afford to get on and play and know that I have my limits and I'll get off when I need to get off, whatever. So like, it's not even that you have to live like that, like hard, like to the bone, 100% all the time. But you need to know what it's like so you have that like mental.
I think it comes down to you need a reset.
Yeah.
Right? I think everyone needs kind of a reset, and honestly, like a year. Every year, I think you need to take a something where you just go hard, like set yourself back.
That's why I like the season thing.
Yeah.
Kinda like what we do, like
exactly.
we have like the really hard season, like in my head, like we're going through it and it's tough, and then you're like, is this sustainable to do all the time?
It's not.
Like it's not, but you don't want to say that because you don't want to be the quit guy. But then like. Like at some point you both just kind of like slow down, start taking it easy, and then you're kind of in the season of relaxing.
Yeah.
And eventually you have to
get back into
that
season, exactly, because it's not sustainable and it won't be, and that's okay. It's just a matter of the difficulty that you put yourself in, and then you start to lose it. And then you start getting back to, oh crap, like I really am falling off. And then boom, you get recycle. And it's not like because and that's where there's extreme, right? My mind is very extreme, and I go very hard in each way. And I understand. I don't like the word balance because balance, I think, is an excuse for people to do things that they're not allowed to do. There's just an easing off the gas pedal, right? You can go balls to the wall, 100% flying, but if you're going 100 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour down the road, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Right? So instead of easing the gas pedal back, going about 80 miles an hour to where you're now, you're moving, but you can intake things and you can understand instead of going 20 miles an hour cruising with the windows down, then what are we really accomplishing? We're not getting anywhere. Right? It's kind of the same thing where by all means, I'm not someone to say, because there's a lot of people, and I start getting in this mindset where I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much bad things with the modern world. I need to go back to the primitive world, right? The primal world, because I'm extreme, right? Modern world this side, primitive world this side. But there's modern technologies and things that genuinely help our lives today that I don't think are like you need to get rid of. For me personally, alcohol has no benefit to my life at all. Right? I don't know if it's the way that my body recepts or is active during alcohol or whatever it is. It just didn't work well for me, so I've cut it out. Kyle, he says he drinks on Saturdays. That's it. He limits his drinking to only on Saturdays. It's not like he goes an excessive amount, but one day a week, that's limiting it. And so then 6 days out of the week, what is that, 15%, whatever it is, a little less than 14% of the time, right? That's perfect. That's all you need, like a little cheat day, because he still owns an alcohol company. He wants to sell alcohol, but it's interesting to think, kind of like McDonald's. Ray Crockett, that guy, he didn't let his kids eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, he didn't let his kids play on their iPhone or like get an iPhone, right? All of these guys, Kyle, he doesn't drink alcohol every single day. Right?
And that's the thing. I feel like it's like when you finally get to that mindset of, because it's not like he's working out all week and then like we're just waiting for Saturday. Like he's like waiting to enjoy his Saturday. I feel like when he gets Saturday, I don't think he really enjoys the drinking that much.
No.
Like, I think he kind of does it like for branding and for like making sure people still know he's like the full send guy. But like when you finally get to that mindset of I don't want to do this stuff because it hurts me, and I look forward to the week of bettering myself. Then when you're in because. Like, obviously, he probably started off hating the week and waiting for Saturday.
Yeah.
But now he's probably to the point where he's like, oh, I got to go out and drink tonight. Like
Exactly. It gets to be that point, and that's what he says, 120 days. Dude looks amazing, right? And not only that, I don't think he did any blood work or anything, but I would be interested to see the blood work and see what inside of his body changed. Because when you have physical appearance, like outside of your body changes, it's 10x on the inside of your body. Right, you look at because I've been recently getting more and more into blood work, into hormones, all these sort of things. And I'm not a doctor, right? By any means, I didn't go to school to be a doctor or anything, because quite honestly, I think a lot of those doctors and what they practice is an outdated system. And technology has advanced so much that what they were learning in 1970s, 1980s does not, like, it doesn't work with mRNA. Like, all that stuff has been the last 5 years, right? Our genes, like our genome, what makes up the human body, DNA, has only been mapped out for like 8-9 years, right? It hasn't been, like we still don't understand the human body, but we understand it far more than we did back in the 1970s. So doctors, like, nowadays, they're still being taught by these books back in the day. And it's like, there's just adopting, there's new things, and they're like, there you go. And it's just all these new things. It's like, dude, just be human,
This is off topic, but I just thought about when you're talking about genes and stuff. Have you ever looked into like your like deep relatives and like seen like where like your bloodline's from and like know like your origins? Like,
so
some people are like, I'm 15% French and this and that.
Yeah, so we're about to do that.
I want to do that. I don't have a clue. I'm like, I'm white, I'm American.
Yeah.
But I have no
Very
clue.
white American.
Yeah, and I even asked my mom, I was like, have you ever went and looked at it? She's like, I've never checked either. So like, I have no
So
clue.
I'm surprised your mom wasn't like, no, you're never going to do that, because my mom was.
Yeah, I know. So that's what she was kind of like
Okay.
that too. But I was like, I want to find out somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I did too, and then my mom brought that up, and I was like, oh, that's a good point.
That's smart, yeah.
I don't think I want to know that bad. Also, sometimes ignorance is bliss, right? I'm a big proponent in all-knowing information, right? The more information, the better. And some people I don't think need to know, right?
if I'm like a Nordic Viking or something, I'm going to need to start growing my beard and buy an axe.
Correct, but what if your parents weren't really your parents? Right? And then that's like, holy, all right, now we have a different issue. And it's because that's happened to a bunch of people. They get these DNA tests back, and they're like one guy, for instance, I heard this story of a guy. He ended up doing that DNA test, and then they say yes, open to the public, right? Because you can do something like that to like connect to relatives or like people who are currently living. So he did that. Turns out, dude had the exact genes as some other dude in the world. Only way that you can have the exact same is if it's a twin.
Yeah.
So he had a twin. He never knew about this. He ended up reaching out to his twin, or people like who were somehow connected. Twin was a drug addict, right? Whatever, they're 30 years old. This guy's like just a normal guy, just has a normal finance job, living his life, has a family, all this sort of stuff, right? He grew up in a good household and home, whatever. Figured out he's twin. He went to his parents. They said, yeah, actually, you're adopted. You're not our actual kid. We found you, and we couldn't take both twins, so we took you, and we left him with the orphanage, whatever. So this twin, they split. He thought he was by himself. Turns out, a few years go by, the twin ends up deleting himself.
Yeah.
So this guy now, he's like, just at random, I was just chosen to be the one that's like we're the exact people. We have the exact DNA and everything. And since he was raised this certain way and I was raised this certain way, just out of pure win, like just hope, they just said, yeah, we're going to take this guy instead of this one. That now his life is far, far exceedingly better. Obviously, now he's still living than this other guy. So he had to actually go seek out counseling and go to do this. Because he was like, he felt guilt for himself. It's like, dude, it's deep. So I heard that story, and then I'm like, okay, now I really don't need to do that. Not saying that any of that stuff is happening, right? Like I believe my parents very much, but it's also like,
yes, that's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have at least like the slightest hint of like something's going on here to where then I wouldn't want to do it. But I don't care about I wouldn't even look at my parents. I would just look at the great-great-greats and see where I'm from and then not look at it anymore.
Nah, you would, it would eat you up. No, it's the same. But what you can do is a genetic test that allows you to see your genes and how they correspond with what you actually eat, right? Like the vitamins that you get, because what happens is our body does not fully, like when we eat an apple, the apple doesn't go through our body, right? Our body has to convert it into different minerals and different things that it can actually use to work our body, like to use our body, right? So in this form of like kind of transferring from one energy source to another is called methylation. And this methylation happens, when we ingest and our body like starts digesting it, breaking stuff down, right? That's all the methylation process. Well, some bodies can't methylate certain minerals from the natural state to the state that it needs to use in the body, just because of genes, right? They have mutations in their genes that don't allow them to do that. So if you get a genetic test, a genetic methylation test, then you can figure out how your body methylates certain minerals. So then you can get those right ones to actually be a healthier human, right? Most doctors don't know this, okay? Because we didn't know this information before 10 years ago, right? So this whole methylate, like we knew that bodies methylate, but you don't know how, all this sort of stuff. And where I come to this is some people methylate alcohol differently, right? And some people, like for me, I don't think that my body can methylate alcohol in the way that others. It's not the same. Our genes are different, right? And it doesn't work quite the same. So for some people, it's just like when we're like for Kyle specifically, like with what he's done, if you're having issues, kind of maybe you're in a point in your life where you're kind of at the lowest point, and you're like, dude, it's not working. I'll do anything to try to get something to work. First thing you need to look at is what you're putting into your body, right? The fuel that you're putting in. Just like a car needs good, high quality octane fuel, gasoline, whatever it may be, your body's the same, right? So instead of going and trying to live your life and be a foodie and eat for pleasure, start looking if once again, you're at the bottom of your life, you need something to do, start fueling your body in just the way that you think is right. And I can almost guarantee you're going to start to see benefits coming from the inside, you feeling better, you being more aware, having better memory, having more mental clarity. All these sort of things are going to come first, and then you're going to see those physical side effects as well of six-pack, lean muscle mass, reduced fat. All of these sort of things will come as well. And Kyle, props to him, man, for 120 days now being on a hard regimen and getting done with it. Definitely really cool to see. And guys, if you want to do any of this sort of stuff, or you're trying to find whatever regimen or routine you want to get on, more than welcome. Comment down below. Just say, hey, regiment, and we'll send you a message and see if we can't get you a program or something. And I'll just find you on Instagram or something. Just how about tag your Instagram down below. Comment whatever your Instagram page is down below, and then we'll send you a message and see if we can't get you some help. But props to him. It's real cool to see. That's going to be it for the podcast. We appreciate you for watching, joining, viewing. Hit that subscribe button if you want. We're here every Monday and Friday. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.